All right, let's turn up the heat and dive into a trade that's red hot. And I mean literally boiler making.
Okay, love it.
Whether you're thinking of switching careers or just curious about what your Boilermaker neighbor actually does, this deep dive is going to be pretty eye-opening. We're going deep with RoleCatcher. They're a website and app all about helping you, well, catch those career dreams.
And they have some really cool insights on boiler making. One thing that surprised me is that it's not just about fixing boilers, it's about actually building them.
Right, from scratch.
Yeah, from the ground up, like massive machines, all these intricate parts. It's pretty amazing.
So we're talking like cutting, shaping, welding, all those metal sheets and tubes together, and it has to be super precise, right?
Exactly. The guide even talks about all these different welding techniques, oxyacetylene torches, shielded metal arc welding.
Wow, yeah, those are some serious tools.
Definitely not your backyard grill stuff. You need real skill to handle those.
Yeah. And years of practice a bit. You know, with all the technology these days, I just assumed robots would be doing most of this by now.
I know, right? You'd think so, but actually the opposite is true. Even though technology is changing things, the demand for Boilermakers is higher than ever.
Really?
Yeah, because it takes a lot of problem solving and on-the-spot decision-making, stuff that's still hard to program a robot to do.
Wow, so it's not just about the brawn, it's about the brains too.
Exactly.
That's a career that'll keep you on your toes.
But it can't all be sparks and shining metal, right?
Mm.
I mean, there's got to be a downside.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's physically demanding, often in some pretty challenging environments. You're dealing with heat, heights, sometimes hazardous materials.
Yeah, and long hours, I imagine.
Oh, definitely. Especially when there's a deadline and everyone's counting on you to get that boiler up and running.
Right. It's not for the faint of heart, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
But speaking of hearts, keeping them beating is key, so safety must be a big deal. Huge!
Yeah.
And that's something RoleCatcher stresses, big time. They talk about everything from the protective gear to all the strict safety procedures.
Good, because you're dealing with so much power and heat. Safety can't be optional. It's got to be like the number one rule, right?
Absolutely. It's about protecting yourself and everyone around you.
Okay, so speaking of moving up, there's got to be a career ladder with this field, right? You don't just start at the top, I assume.
Right. It's not about how many boilers you can build before lunch.
Yeah.
It takes time to hone those skills, take on more responsibility, maybe even lead a team someday.
Right, like your own little band of Boilermakers.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher, they break it down into 4 main levels: entry level, junior, experienced, senior.
Okay, I like it. So let's say you're just starting out. You're at the bottom of that ladder. What does an entry-level Boilermaker even do? So you're at the bottom rung, ready to climb that Boiler-making ladder. What's it look like starting out?
Well, you're the rookie, the apprentice. You're learning the ropes from the veterans. It's all about soaking up knowledge.
So lots of shadowing, getting your hands dirty.
Yeah, for sure. But also like learning the why behind everything. The
Mm.
tools, the techniques, all those safety rules. It's crucial.
Right, because safety is paramount, especially in this line of work. So it's not all just fetching tools and making coffee then.
Oh, no, no. You'll be doing some of that, sure. But you're also getting hands-on experience, cutting, shaping that metal, learning to use the machinery.
Okay, so real responsibility, even from day one. But there's always more to learn, right? So once you've paid your dues, put in the time, what's the next step up? What does a junior Boilermaker do?
That's when you go from apprentice to, well, more like a journeyman. You get more responsibility, more freedom to work independently.
Less hand-holding, more torch wielding.
Exactly. You're like, okay, I got this. You're cutting and welding with more precision, maybe tackling some basic troubleshooting.
Oh, I bet those can be tricky. So you're really starting to develop your own skills, your own style.
Yeah, you're getting a feel for it,
Yeah.
like that Boilermaker intuition. You can just tell when something needs a little extra attention.
It's like the boiler's talking to you, right? But even with intuition, you still need a roadmap, which is where those blueprints come in.
Ah, blueprints. The unsung heroes of boiler making. They might not look exciting, but trust me, they are essential.
It's like trying to build IKEA furniture without the instructions.
Exactly. That'd be
Oh, yeah.
total chaos. Those blueprints, they're like the boiler's DNA. Everything you need to know.
So you're not just a welder, you're a code breaker. And as you move up the ranks, that skill becomes even more important, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Which brings us to the experienced boilermaker. That's where you really start to leave your mark.
All right, so we've climbed the ranks. We've gone from apprentice to journeyman. We're practically fluent in blueprint now, and we've got that boiler whisperer intuition. What's next? What does an experienced boilermaker actually do?
Well, think of it this way. You're not just playing an instrument anymore. You're conducting the whole orchestra. Years of experience under your belt, you know the craft inside and out. You're ready to lead the band.
So less hands-on with the torch and more about guiding the team.
You got it. Overseeing projects from start to finish, making sure everything runs smoothly. Plus, you get to mentor those junior Boilermakers coming up.
Passing on that wisdom.
Yeah.
So it's not just building boilers anymore, you're building Boilermakers too.
That's a good way to put it. And the problem solving, oh man, it gets really interesting at this level. More complex projects, tighter deadlines. You got to think on your feet.
I bet those years of experience come in handy.
You know it. You have to be adaptable and resourceful. One thing that really stood out to me from the RoleCatcher guide is how important technology is even in this, hands-on kind of trade.
That's interesting. I never really thought about it like that.
Right. But think about all the industries that use boilers. Manufacturing, power plants, food production. As those industries change, so do the boilers they need.
So new materials, new designs, it's all got to be updated.
Exactly. So an experienced Boilermaker might be using computer design, new welding tech, even working with engineers to make those boilers even better.
Wow, so it's a career that keeps evolving.
Always. And that brings us to the top of the boilermaking world. The senior Boilermaker. That's where all that experience and innovation really shines.
Senior Boilermaker, the maestro of metal. So what's the day-to-day like for a Boilermaking rock star?
We've pretty much seen it all and done it all. They've got the skills, the know-how. They can lead a team through anything. They might be managing huge projects, maybe even consulting on brand new boiler designs.
Yeah, so they've gone from holding the tools to shaping the future of the whole field. That's amazing.
It is. Boilermaking isn't just a job, it's a whole career, and it's way more than people realize.
I'd say so. Big thanks to RoleCatcher for opening our eyes to the world of Boilermaking. And to everyone listening who's now thinking, hey, maybe I should be a Boilermaker.
This is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much to learn, so many skills to master, and who knows what incredible boilers you could help create.
That's right. So next time you see a boiler, take a second and appreciate the skill and precision that went into making it, because it's a lot more than meets the eye.
It's the heart of so many industries, and those Boilermakers, they keep those hearts beating.
And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive into the world of Boilermaking. Until next time, stay curious out there.